Hello and welcome to the Corona Yoga Challenge. Today is day 169. Please make sure you check my website, make sure that you're keeping safe and adapting, and do subscribe if you would like to. We're going to start by coming to lying. So if you bring yourself onto your back, so you're just going to be lying comfortably onto your back. So you've got that feeling of the lower back settling and widening onto the floor, the shoulders widening onto the floor, and the hands just comfortable and resting widely. So you're just going to take a moment to breathe here. So a moment to just let the body settle into the floor and the breath to settle into a kind of natural and easy rhythm for you. So just allow the breath to come in, allow the breath to leave. See if the breath wants to get a little bit deeper. It might or it might not. But if it does, it will just happen naturally. You're going to come up and onto the balls of the feet, and then you're just going to ease your knees from one side to the other side. So just a nice, easy, gentle rocking through the lower back. So just allow the back to feel good, allow the pelvis to feel like it's just widening and easing. And then you can let the legs go a little bit further if you want to. But remember to take it in a way that feels good and interesting. And then what we're going to do is we're going to allow the knees to settle over to one side. So you're just going to let the knees settle down and onto the floor. And we're going to work with the feeling of the weight coming down through the pelvis, through the side of the pelvis onto the floor. And then it's almost like there's a lifting up through the back of the body and the back of the spine. So the body comes up and out of the pelvis, and then it sinks down and wide across the shoulders. So we've got a movement down through the pelvis, up through the waist, up and out through the back, so we widen out. Take an easy breath here, so make sure that you're entirely comfortable. It should just feel like, lovely, just lying on the floor. And then you're going to bring your knees up to the centre. Just come to neutral for a moment, so ease the shoulders to an even position, the arms, the head. Just notice how you feel right now. And then you're going to take your knees over to the other side. So again, just go slowly, easily. Just let yourself come around comfortably. Let the rest of the body adapt as it needs to. So my arm comes in a little bit. I change the position of my shoulders. And then we're going to look at that feeling of pressing down through the pelvis. So we're really grounded down through where the pelvis meets the floor. And from there, from the front, you can see there's a lifting up through the tummy, out and across, up through the rib cage. And then there's the downward movement of the shoulder, and the arms can open out. And as the shoulders open out, then we get slightly heavier through the hands, through the fingers. Easier, so we get a real feeling of life in the body, but also rest. Breathe easy. And then you're going to bring your knees up and to the centre. Come back to that neutral position of the hips, the shoulders, your head, so that your head is in line as well, and your body can just rest comfortably for a moment. We're going to come into all fours now. So if you bring yourself into a comfortable all fours position so that you feel nice and settled, you're just going to arch your back up, release the head down, and then like the neck. We're going to do this a couple of times so the back feels a little bit easier, more fluid, more movable, and then just let yourself have a little playful move around with your spine. Just notice how your body would like to move and let it do that. We're going to come up to standing now, so if you tuck your toes under, walk your hands back towards your legs, lift up through the hips, soften through the back of the knees, so that you can fold forwards nice and easily, and the head can release down. And then bend through the knees, spread wide through the hands, come all the way up, take the hands overhead if it's comfortable, and then settle your hands down to your heart. So we're going to come into a version of triangle pose just now. So if you start by bringing yourself to just comfortable, steady standing on the floor, so that you just feel rooted down through your feet, and you feel as you get heavier and steadier through your feet that there's that little feeling of life and lightness that comes up through the rest of the body. From here, if you take a step forward with one foot, so take a comfortable step forward for you, so slightly wider than a normal step. You're going to let your hands come forward and onto your front leg, and you're going to lean yourself up and forward. And then we're going to do a similar process to what we did in lying. So can you feel really rooted and grounded down through the front hip so that you can start to open round through the tummy and the rib cage. And then from there that the hand can just float up. And you might be lower down, you might be higher up. But the main thing is that we get that feeling of real support coming from this front leg and into the hip. So we're really aware of this kind of anchoring. And the back leg obviously needs to stay strong too. But then from that anchor we can move out and round and find that sense of lightness. And then bringing your hand onto the back of your body, press down through your feet as you come round and up and back to standing. So back to settled feet. Feeling a little weight in the heels, a little softness through the back of the body. And then we're going to come over to the opposite side. So taking a step forward, get nice and steady down through the feet, a little bit of strength through the lower part of the legs, or the lower part of the body. Letting your shoulders come up and forward, so we get that feeling of the way that the shoulders can come forward, but we can remain really rooted and grounded through the legs. Steady through this front hip, come round and out of it. So like you're making space, like you're coming out of the pelvis and then we come out and round so that we can get a feeling of space in the torso, in that movement. And then bring yourself round to face the short edge of your mat. Step yourself forward, come back to even standing. Then if you make sure that you've got a little bit of something beside you. So we're going to do a balancing position. So if you just make sure that you are close enough to something that you can take your hand onto. From there you're going to let your knee come up and you're going to extend it out into the side. And the standing leg is going to get really strong and really long. And the shoulders are both going to stay relaxed and down. And then bringing your leg back down, come back to even feet, back to settling into the back of the body. And then we're going to do the other side, so swap yourself around as you need to. So hand comes onto the support, shoulders release down, and then the knee is just going to come out and round, and we get that nice feeling of lengthening up through the standing leg, so that the support comes from the leg and the upper body can be quite relaxed. And then bring yourself back to the centre so your foot can come down and onto the floor. The option now is to take your hand onto your lower leg and do it like this, or onto your toes and do it like this, so with your leg out. So you're going to choose which one's going to be right for you. So do use your support so you can explore the movement in the legs safely and comfortably. So I'm going to do it with my hand on my toe, but if your hand is on your shin, you're going to end up with a slightly bent leg, which is absolutely perfect and good. But just go with whichever one you want. But this one I'll show because if you are working with a bent leg, you can want to work with more. You're not going to have any idea unless I actually do it. So if you are working with your hand on your toe or your foot, first of all extend your leg out, then float it out and round. So same process if your knee is bent. So we get that feeling of the movement round through the pelvis, out through that leg, hand on the support or wide if you want. And then you're going to bring yourself back into the centre and release your foot down so you come back to that settled back of the body, easy feeling. Ideally you can have that easy feeling in the pose as well, but it's always really worth coming back to that feeling just in case it's snuck away for a moment. We're going to come to the opposite side, so hand on your support. Either your hand is going to be on your knee and you can extend your leg out a little if you would like, or you can take your hand down onto your toes, extend out, shoulders soften, stay strong through the supporting leg, then float your leg out to the side, shoulders release down, and then bring yourself back to the centre, bring your foot down and onto the floor, Settle the back of the body, settle your breathing, your energy. We're going to come and do a little bit of breathing now, so if you want to bring yourself to a comfortable sitting position for you. So first of all, just let your breath be easy. Notice where is it in your body at the moment, where is it moving most of all. And then all you're going to do today is you're just going to imagine that you're in a really, really comfortable place for you. Somewhere a bit like that feeling of being on holiday in a little bit of sun with a bit of gentle breeze, and the feeling that everybody around you is all well and happy. Just if you engage with that feeling or that place or for you or somewhere else like that, just notice what happens to your breathing with just that feeling of all is well. And see if you can sink back into that feeling more, so we get more and more all is well. So my challenge for you today, is to get a piece of paper and a pen and to make some marks. So it could be that you make marks thinking of drawing something. It could be that you just enjoy a feeling of what Mark wants to, what does your body want to do? What does the paper want to show you? And I would probably advise that one where you're in a slightly more reflective space for something to come, as opposed to trying to take, which is I see that, I want to draw that, or I want to say that. So see if you can come from a place of what wants to happen, and allow that to be, whether it's that you end up drawing circles and circles and circles and circles, or dot, 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 or little lines, or those things might turn into something. So just to explore mark making. And it could be with some dirt and a stick, or some pieces of grass, I don't know. But see if you can explore that experience or that process and enjoy that. And my quote for you today, is lurking somewhere around me, and I'm not quite sure which one I'm going for. I think I'm going to pause this and go and get one that I've got in mind. So I found it. It's an Irish proverb. It is in the shelter of each other that the people live. It is in the shelter of each other that the people live. Hope you have a super day, and I've got superb sun today, so I am planning some gardening. I hope you have a lovely day, whatever your weather is. Thank you.